Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to be talking about multi-tier Europe concept and what that concept is. Multi-tier Europe is a concept that envisions the European Union or Europe as a whole organized into different tiers or levels of integration and cooperation. So it's a European Union. So it's an overall organization that was started for steel and coil, yeah. So that's the reason why all project got started in the first place. That would be European Union. From there, I don't know how and what the people are trying to do there, but they are trying to organize Europe. So Europe is completely different thing. There's a lot of different countries, governments. They have their own interests within Europe, but European Union as a project, that's how it's organized, right? This idea has been proposed and looking. So people are actually proposed this and asking people to vote on this. I guess this is what's happening. But either way, whole organization into different tiers or levels of integration and cooperation. This idea has been proposed and discussed by various political thinkers and policymakers as a way to address the diverse interests and preferences of European countries and to adapt to changing political, economic, and social dynamics within Europe. It's important to note that such a plan can evolve and the specific may change over time. But ultimately, some of the so it's very hard to manage many different countries, right? So they are looking to increase number of people or countries overall and organizations involved into all of this structure way of thinking when it comes to trade or products and services. At least this is how it should think. Should come back to, but they would look into as well as governing of the countries and everything. So it's a lot of people looking to do that. For people out there, I would highly recommend to taking a look at the current plan, the way how they're proposing it, and I have my own understanding, and perhaps the similar plan was not only proposed within Europe, but in different regions as well, and how and what people are looking to manage different regions, not necessarily limited to Europe. And Europe is looking perhaps something that they can implement as well. There are four different groups, right? So let's take a look at the first one, core group, tier 1. This will consist of European founding members and countries deeply committed to political, economic, and integration. They might aim to closer cooperation on various fronts, including fiscal policy, defense, and foreign policy. It's something that they've been trying to accomplish for 20 years now. They keep trying, I guess. The Eurozone, which is a substance of EU countries using the euro, is an example of core group within the European Union. So the same currency, perhaps there's a different values. I'm not that familiar. It's something that I need to do more research on. So that would perhaps having one government, one currency, and perhaps the different values that they want to build all this project on top of it, right? So how it started to make it easier to trade between countries, right? So this is how the project got started. But from there, we're progressing and we keep trying, I guess, implementing and making changes there. Intermediate groups, tier 2. Countries in this tier will be committed to certain aspects of EU integration but may opt out or have more flexibility in other areas. For example, they might choose not to adopt the euro as its currency or participate in specific EU policies such as Schengen, or that would be the passport-free travel. Right, so between countries, European countries, there's a passport and how people can travel between European countries. Right, and Schengen, I think it's overall refers to trading. That's why I think having a euro, and we use it for trade as well as free trade agreements. Periphery group. Tier 3. This group could consist of countries that are not members of EU but have various forms of cooperation with the EU. This might participate in the single market, have bilateral agreements, or engage in issue-specific partnerships. Uh, so that's one way to look at it. So Tier 3. I'm not entirely sure what's happening right now. I have done some research to understand some of the countries not taking part, so that's another way to organizing everything, right? So it's for better understanding and how they're looking to govern that. I'll look into all the issues that they have, but I'm not entirely sure how much impact that would actually have. Would that be a waste of everyone's time to just try to understand everything? Can I vote? And I'm not entirely sure can I even vote. So since no one's asking for my opinion, I'm paying taxes, and no one's asking for my opinions in the first place. So I have a lot of issues with the way how they're doing things, but either way. Special agreements. Some countries might have unique agreements or arrangements, such as United Kingdom. The relationship with the EU following Brexit. They could be a part of multiple tier depending on the scope of cooperation in different areas. Perhaps special agreements would have more sovereign governance of the country as a whole, as well as more flexibility, something perhaps that a lot of people are looking for. The concept of multi-tier Europe aims to strike balance between promoting unity and accommodating the varying degrees of commitments of EU integration among member states. It recognizes that not all EU countries are ready or willing to advance at the same pace of all aspects of integration. Perhaps not advance, perhaps understanding who will benefit from some of those contracts that are available on the table. So if I want to start or I'm looking to have access to any finance of that, so would that be I need to check with one country and how they're managing and organizing everything. I have done a little bit of research. I don't necessarily agree with the way how they are managing things right now. So some of the Brussels, the way how they're structuring those buildings, how we can have access and influence some of the lobbying going on. So there's a lot of issues there, so which have been mentioned so far, as well as multi-tier system. Most likely it was done for different regions, not necessarily for EU, but EU having access to some of those contracts, we might look to introduce those contracts as well in the EU. Fragmentation. Implementing multi-tier approach may risk of fragmenting the EU, making decision making more complex and leading to unequal benefits among member states. So some of those issues being addressed, as well as veto currently that all the countries need to agree before any of new countries will enter. So some of the control, this is within this agreement, we're looking to remove some of the control of already existing member states. So they're doing a lot of shady things as well. So it's worth mentioning. Democracy, I don't know. So if I know that, so perhaps all the smart people know that as well. What they're actually trying to achieve with this agreement. Democracy and accountability. It's important to ensure that decision-making structure are democratic and that less integrated countries still have a say in matters that affect them. Again, there's a lot of information missing. Economic disparities. A multi-tier system may reinforce economic disparities among member states, potentially leading to tensions and division. Exactly. Coordination challenges. Coordination, policies, and actions across different tiers can be challenging and may require robust mechanisms for cooperation and dispute resolutions. Just one of many numbers. So overall, I have covered perhaps 4 different issues, but either way, so I'm not entirely sure. If I was sitting there, perhaps I might become blind to actually what's happening, looking from outside in, right? From looking from outside in of what they're actually trying to do and achieve with everything what's happening there, then I have a lot of doubts if elected people there working to the best interest of the people, perhaps in their own interest, not necessarily for the people, right? So that's my personal opinion. For people out there who are interested in learning more, I have published a book, Game Strategy. In this book, I'm sharing a lot of information to bring you up to speed what will be required to run your own company. And some of the information that I'm sharing in the book is very fundamental information to where you should begin doing research. Right from there, progression should or perhaps can look like that you start your own business. Then you start making money. Perhaps you would like to diversify it as well as perhaps if not in your own business, perhaps if you have some additional capital, perhaps you would like to start investing in different companies, right? Different projects of that. Whatever you might be located, US, UK, EU, whatever country, Australia, other countries, and you are interested in investing in different companies. There's a lot of information within this book, which I believe is very important to understand. You can find this book in the description below as well as Top Retailers has it. If there are any takeaways from this video, at least they're doing something. So it's always a good thing to see that people up there trying to think about how to carry on structuring massive, massive size, large groups of people and how to implement all the changes and what will be required to keep operating and perhaps growing economically, if anything. I'm not entirely sure about control and what they actually argue with regards to control economically and perhaps trade, what it should be all about, perhaps making it easier for business people out there to trade and do business with other countries when it comes to products and services. I agree on this part that people out there trying their best, perhaps, and looking to improve all the systems out there, which can be very challenging. But I can I can bring so many different examples where they going over top of limiting other people, especially entry level, how hard it can be when you are just starting out. So if any takeaways or my own thoughts and ideas, but I personally believe this agreement, as I mentioned, was done for different regions, not Europe. But they thought it might be good to introduce the same agreement to Europe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one.